Where to begin? Most people would guess at the beginning, right? But that's normally kind of lame and takes too long to lay out, and I ain't got time for all that shit. Okay, so that might be a bit of a lie, clearly, since I have enough time to sit here and record this little video, right? Guess that makes me an unreliable narrator or something. Fuck if I care. But I do need to lay out who I am and what I'm about. My name is Chad Manley. I've been a bounty hunter, private eye, and sometimes a gun. We'll say I have been paid to toe the blurry line of legality from time to time. And as long as I don't get caught during these blurry actions, I guess I'm okay, right? Well, life's thrown me a few monkey wrenches lately. I'm in between homes, living in this apartment, and I'm in between jobs, but that's kind of the nature of the beast when you do freelance work like I do. On the plus side, I'm my own boss, so discussions with upper management tend to be pretty quick and decisive, and, well, haven't been fired yet, so that's good. And, well, now I have become another victim of this wonderful economy, where rent is too high, gas everyone knows is too high, food and utility prices are climbing every day. Just becoming downright unaffordable to live in America these damn days, I tell you what. And maybe it takes a rough son of a bitch like me to put out a tell-all video series and a accompanying collection of short stories that will eventually be turned into a whole book, I assume, to get me back on my feet. Till then, I needed to get this stuff on record, because you know the newsboys are going to drop their side of the story, twist it, or straight up lie, and I needed to get this recorded so that y'all would have my side of the story so that y'all can decide which one is the truth. It's this one. Just so you know, it's this one. So, the beginning. Luckily for y'all, this one's not that lame. The beginning. I was on my latest bail jumping asshole retrieval gig. This guy, according to the database, Wallace Waite, fat black dude that was bald and bearded cunt of a motherfucker, had been skipping out on court and on the cops on drug-related charges. You would say that's kind of typical bullshit, right? Minor drug offenses, people out on bail, whatever, who cares? Well, old Wallace Waite here was dealing in the fentanyl. Not light stuff, let me tell you. Especially when it had been turning up in the autopsies of a bunch of local college kids who had been part of the rave scene. Seems it had been getting mixed in with their ecstasy. Now imagine that. Dead college kids and this motherfucker, Wallace Waite, out on bail. Skipping bail, but mind you, out on bail. These judges and DAs are a joke, y'all. Letting these pieces of shit, these scum of the earth, back out into society where they're gonna do more harm than any good, if they even know how to do good, on the innocent and law-abiding citizens of the country. It's just total chaos and mayhem, and it is the sign of decay and decadence of a culture. It's all around us. It's horrible. So all these murders, deaths, all pointed back to good old Wallace Waite, who had started selling fentanyl and fentanyl mixed drugs, I suppose, after he lost his job at some downtown building doing quality assurance. Whatever the fuck quality assurance is. And I heard through my usual sources that he liked to frequent this nice little Irish pub downtown that I also like to go to, called the Tapper Nandy's. It's a little rough, but I say it was nice, but I like them rough, so it's nice to me. And I don't have a problem mixing business with pleasure. So a little drinking while catching some bail jumping asshole that's killing people with drugs works for me. So I'm sitting at that bar waiting for this fat ass to waddle in at some point, who knows when. Gives me a reason to go every day, right? And I'm chatting up the cute little bartender there, this blonde chick named Lynn. Way out of my league, of course. So instead of hitting on her, I just go tease her a lot with when she gonna find a man that's gonna help her get pregnant to stop this population decline we're in that's gonna screw all of us over in about 20 years. You ain't counting on Social Security, are you? Shouldn't. Of course, she always replies with she's gonna establish herself in some smart person career. That's what feminism does to these women. Convinces them that instead of doing the most important thing they can in their life, which is raising kids at home to make them productive members of society, teaches them to go out, slave away at some corporation, typically run by a man, mind you, to show that they are independent women and fighting the patriarchy. Sorry for the tangent, not sorry. So Lynn's walking around serving drinks to all the patrons, as she does, and calls over to me. She's like, "Hey, Chad." And I'm like, "Hey, Lynn." She says, "Will you tell this fool over here that our team is going to make the playoffs this year?" And I'm like, "Oh, great. Sports ball." I stopped paying attention to that stuff hardcore back when they stopped being an escape from all the political, narrative, propaganda bullshit. But I do keep in the know because sometimes you gotta go out into society and pretend to be a functioning member of it. So I look over to this guy that she's having this conversation with, and he's just shaking his head, looks over at me, and he's like, "I just don't see it, bro." I look at him, and I just kind of shrug my shoulders because I don't care. And I hear Lynn's exasperated sigh because I didn't back her up, probably why. And then Lynn says, "Wally, just because we got a new head coach." And when she says that name, my ears kind of prick up. At the same time, there's this voice coming from the other end of the bar. This scraggly, wiry-looking white dude pops his head up. He must be sitting at one of them low tables at, past the end of the bar, because I ain't seen him till now. He pops his head up, and he's like, "Wally, hey, Wally." Wally looks down past me at this guy, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Jonesy, how's it going?" Apparently they know each other. And I throw myself into the middle of it again. I'm like, "Wally, that wouldn't be short for Wallace, would it?" And he looks over at me and he's like, "Who the hell's asking?" And tension just cranked to 100, guys. And I can see Lynn's face in the background. She's like, "Oh no." And I'm looking over at Wally over here and I'm thinking, I've been looking for some fat dude with no hair and a beard. This dude's over here jacked, looking like a linebacker himself. Big old fro and no beard. Apparently he's had a few changes since that picture in the database. And I say, that wouldn't be Wallace Wade, would it? And let me tell you guys, this guy is fast. He jumps up, snatches the bar stool between us because he's just 2 seats down, slings it at me. I've got just enough time to throw up my arms, catch that blow, but there's so much force behind it because the dude is a beast. It stumbles me off my stool back into Jonesy, who's been walking this way with 2 drinks in his hand. Not sure why. Maybe shooter chaser. Maybe he couldn't just make up his mind. Anyway, I guess he figures since he's boys with Wally, he got to get into the mix. He smashes them glasses down on my head, cuts it up. I got blood and booze coming into my face. Then he hems me up like in full Nelson, like it's wrestling. And he's like, "Get him, Wally." Wally comes up to me, punches me in the face a couple times, splits my lip despite the beard. It doesn't do anything to protect me. And I spit the blood in his face. That earns me a punch to the guts like these guys knew it was shoulder and abs day for me at the gym. I return that with a kick to his nuts. Of course, I'm hemmed up, so I can't get no force behind it, right? Just stumbles him back a few steps, catches his breath. Lynn's over here yelling, "I'm gonna call the cops." Which doesn't really help the situation, but it does kind of freak Jonesy out, and Jonesy's like, "Finish him, Wally." Got me hemmed up still. Wally thinks he's going to, gets up, flips out a knife, and I gotta think fast, so I do the only thing that comes to mind. I drop down, and my knees and shins take one for the team because that glass that was shattered on my head is now on the ground, right? So I fall right onto it. Luckily, I ain't wearing skinny boy bitch jeans. Some of the glass gets through, I feel it bite in, but, could have been worse, right? Anyway, falling down, flipping Jonesy forward with the momentum, and since he's such a lightweight bitch, It works. He flips over me, goes falling into that knife that was meant for me, falling onto the ground, gets a little glass in his face because he's in that same vicinity now. And then he's crawling off and standing up, trying to get away, crying about a literal knife in the back. And Wally, he's stunned by the turn of events. It gives me the chance to pop up and punch him right in the throat there. Gets him stunned and coughing. And I know that this dude's a bigger guy. This ain't going to stop him right now, so I got to do what I can. And when you got a bigger adversary coming at y'all, guys, let me tell you, you got to go for the weak point that everybody has, and it's that knee. You got to hit that, what is it, the anterior cruciate ligament, right? Takes out tons of football players, takes out basketball players, soccer players, I guess, if you watch that, but who does that? I don't know. Anyway, I come up, I kick him in that knee. He goes down crying like a bitch about, oh, fuck my knee, not again. So that takes care of him. Jonesy's crying about a knife in the back over there, and I can finally just take stock of the situation. Everything is calmed down. I grab my handcuffs. Luckily, I have to carry 2 pairs, because if you got 2, you got 1. If you got 1, you got none, right? How they say. And I drag them outside one by one, because I ain't no damn superhero here. And I handcuff them to one of these bike racks that's cemented in the sidewalk out on the street. A little public humiliation do them good. Actually, it probably won't, because they're a bit retarded, it seems. But it makes me feel good to know that they're being humiliated. Also, I take advantage of the situation and rifle their pockets for cash, because there's a mess inside, and somebody's going to pay for it. Sure as fuck ain't going to be me. So I go back inside, I hand the cash to Lynn, say sorry about the mess, and she's like, damn it, Chad. And I'm like, what? I said I'm sorry. And she's like, no, you fool, come here, you're a mess. She points at my knees and at my head, and I look down. Yeah, there's blood and stuff coming through the jeans, and she hands me this damp rag, which is kind of suspect, right? And pull up my pant leg, start dabbing at the wounds, tie off the worst of them, and I can feel the sting. Obviously, that was alcohol in that rag, but alcohol's a disinfectant, right? So we're good? Sure. Then she's like, Chad, come here. Pulls me forward. Has a clean rag now, starts dabbing at my head. And she's kind of mocking me. She's like, what's a few more scars, right, Chad? And I'm saying, well, chicks dig 'em. And she's like, uh-huh. I'm like, that's not exactly a stunning endorsement, girl. And she chuckles at that, so I guess I get a few points, right? Well, then the ambulance shows up to take care of the 2 wounded bitches outside, and then the cops show up. We play 20 questions about what went down, and I find out some good news, y'all. I'm getting 2 paychecks when the transactions hit the bank tomorrow, or the next day, whenever it comes. Because it turns out not only was Wally skipping bail, but so was Jonesy. Assault and battery or something, I can't remember exactly. But bad enough, Another scum of the earth. So I retire back to the bar and celebrate with another drink that Lynn pours, and it never even hits the tabletop. Just chug it right down. That's win-win. All this to say, my stunning display of action there had not gone unnoticed. The next day, I get a call from this couple that apparently been chilling in the back of the bar and saw the whole thing go down. Very impressed with my skills, as they should be. And they decided to hire me to go looking for their missing daughter. College kid. Her and her fool friends, I guess, watched too many damn cartoons growing up, because they decided they were Super Sleuth Gang and they were gonna hunt down the butcher in the Dell. Been all in the news. Very dramatic name. Kind of a mouthful. We're gonna have to come up with something a little different later. Bunch of people been disappearing. Others been turning up, torn apart. Okay, so not torn apart, but like meticulously cut, actually. And that's how he earned his name, the Butcher in the Dell, because all these people had been, what was left of them, carved to bits, nice clean cuts and stuff, like a butcher. They had been traveling towards the location of where the most recent victims had turned up. It all been in the same area, mostly, I guess, in this rural end of the county. So there I am, an hour away from my favorite bar, tracking down these kids that went missing, trying to solve the mystery. Fuck-ups beget fuck-ups, I suppose. Instead of being raised by good parents, it was cartoons. Whatever. Not my problem. It's my paycheck, though. So I'm out there. I find their little campsite. It's abandoned. You got tents, duffel bags, sleeping bags, fire kind of still smoking there. Not much to go on, but I find a little purse. Got the girl's ID in it. Don't remember her name right now. It'll come to me. Looking around, I start hearing this sound that I start to follow. Going around to this hollowed out oak tree. I don't know what I'm about to find, so hand on my gun, right? This one over here, but like this. And I get to the front of that tree where the hollow is, and inside is this whimpering coonhound. Poor dog all slashed up, marks on his face, ears is a bit messed up, other slashes on his body. Smartest one of the bunch, I guess, because he got away to live to see another day. Looking like he's suffering from PTSD in there, shaking and shivering when I approach. And I see him and I figure, why the hell not? We got us a coonhound, let's see what he can do. I take the purse and I stick it out to him, and he barely comes out that hole to sniff at it. He don't go chasing after whatever scent he finds like you would expect a coonhound to do, right? No, too scared right now. But does look a certain direction. I'm like, good enough, pupper, I thank you. So I start going that direction that he pointed me. Find me a little clue. And I say, Jinkies. Jinkies. Didn't that used to be a breakfast cereal or something? Anyway, clue I'd found, blood trail. Might have been the dog's, might have been somebody else's. Doesn't matter, I'm following it. Go down this path, getting into the woods a little deeper and into the hills. Find the mouth of a cave. Kinda odd, because I have hunted these hills for years, y'all. I ain't never seen this cave before. Now, I've heard tell of it. It's kind of an urban legend. Of course, we're out in the woods, so I guess it's not very urban. We'll call it a local myth. Anyway, I go inside, my gun at the ready. And let me tell you, that's the only thing that was ready, because I wasn't. I'm going through this tunnel system. There's torches on the wall. Through all these turns, I get around some. I start to hear some noises. I start to smell some smells. Very strange for a cave. What I was smelling. I'm sure caves have smells, right? But this was not what I was expecting, because I was smelling animals, y'all. And I turned this one corner, and there they were. You had goats, you had chickens, you had pigs. There's like ducks. And off in the distance, I'm pretty sure I heard some cows mooing somewhere. They were all in these like offset chambers that looked like they'd been carved out, little niches in the tunnel system here. It was like a prepper's paradise, y'all. I was kind of jealous. I keep going down the path, all these animals making noises. Probably tipped off whoever might have been in there. If the butcher and the devil was there, then he's long gone. So I round the last corner of this tunnel system, and it opens up into this gigantic chamber. And I swear, guys, I feel like I just stumbled onto a satanic ritual room or something. There's candles lighting the walls. There's jagged knives on this sacrificial altar in the middle with blood all over it. There's guts on some of these other tables. And then there's steaks and hamburgers and, oh wait, what? Right? So I get a little closer because I'm thinking my eyes must be playing tricks on me. But no, there's what looks like steaks and hamburger, but there's buckets of body parts, right? Arms, legs and stuff, so this is probably human meat, I'm thinking. But in the middle, what really catches my attention is this thing that's looks like strips of bacon fashioned into a bowl. So I'm looking at all this and I back up thinking, wait a minute, this is not a satanic ritual room for sacrificing. This is a kitchen in a cave. This is his prep table. Them knives is for butchering the people. Butchering the devil, right? Don't know what the animals are for unless it's I don't know, an extreme version of the carnivore diet where he's just eating all the meats and people is just included in his, plan. You know what? That's actually a good name. We ain't gonna call him Butcher and the Devil no more. We're gonna call him the Carnivore. One word, nice and short, descriptive, fits. I like it. So Carnivore has left this place in the middle of prep. Maybe he heard me coming. Maybe he heard the animals that warned him off or something, if he was even there in the first place right then. I don't know. But I'm looking around, trying to figure out if I can find any kind of evidence of which people these are. I don't know. And it's been a long day, y'all, and I'm starting to get hungry. And I'm looking at this little bowl of human flesh that looks like bacon, and I love bacon. I'm sure y'all love bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? I start to reach out for it. And right about then, this pig has wandered in, I guess followed me in, bumps into my leg, snaps me out of it, luckily. And that's when I come up with the best food product idea you have ever heard of, guys. Bacon bowl. We're gonna take this idea of the flesh bowl, right? But we're gonna use bacon because we're normal people, right? We're not gonna use humans. That's what we're gonna do. The bacon bowl. Totally original idea, never heard of it or tried it before now. Don't Google that. I mean, what even is the internet? Just a damn hoax. So I'm looking around after inventing the best food product to grace mankind, realizing there's not much left for me to find here. Ain't nothing but scraps of body parts around here. I doubt they're going to pull much DNA. Maybe they can, so I make some notes for, whatever law enforcement I'm going to hand it off to, because I ain't getting in the middle of analyzing all this shit. I ain't got no super lab or nothing. Probably something the FBI wants to look into if they got the time, but I ain't heard nothing about them being on the case lately, so they must have bigger priorities judged by the administration. I don't know. I leave the cave, these animals following me Pied Piper style, all happy to be freed and all that. Back to my truck. They hop right in the back, totally weren't tied up or forced in there at all. In the passenger side is Coonhound. Apparently he wandered out of that tree and felt safe in the truck, so I got me a new pet, I guess. And I'm sitting there seeing that it's the end of the day with the sun setting behind the hills there. Pull out a cigar that I always have one on hand, right? Light that bad boy and enjoy it outside of my truck as the sun is going down, because smoking inside your vehicle or your house or apartment is just a disgusting habit. Wouldn't recommend it. Don't do it, people. And I finish that stogie and hop in my truck, drive on home. Get there, back at the house when I had it. Let the animals out, and they just, politely march themselves into the backyard with the fence, and the dog is happily chasing after them, I'm sure. And I go inside, grab me a cold beer, and start working on my first bacon bowl. And inspired by the animals I had seen, which, we had, goats, pigs, cows, chickens, ducks, what have you. I decided to go with scrambled eggs and cheese. That is a delicious food right there, y'all. Let me tell you, good for keto and good for anybody that's hitting the gym and wants some extra tasty protein, right? Depending on what you put inside your bacon bowl. I mean, y'all do work out, right? Right? You don't want to be a soy drinking bitch boy that's going to be the next victim of the carnivore, do you? Maybe I need to teach y'all the Chad Manley workout routine. We'll think about it. But obviously, Carnivore got away, so there is more to this story, but it is not going to be told today. Because it has been a long day, and I am hungry, and I hear some bacon bowls calling my name. Now, if you want to know how to make your own bacon bowls, guess what? That little book, that little short story collection that I was talking about earlier, that we're probably going to release in installments and then bundle all together at the end when we get it done, that's where you want to go for all the details. It's going to have how to make the bacon bowls, what to put in the bacon bowls, the best way to make the bacon bowls. And it's going to have all the details that I may or may not have left out of these stories as I tell them in the video series. So be sure to click all them links and follow all those websites to Untold Fortunes of Knowledge. And be sure to tune in for the next tale of bacon bowl murders in the carnivore. Until then, this is Chad Manley, signing off.